All right, peace to you and yours wherever you may be. I love you continually for free. And this is the story of my experience with the Belarus 250 AS injector pump. I bought this tractor in 2004-ish out of Mandeville, Louisiana. And the guy who I bought this tractor from, he more or less told me, he says, man, he says, you're going to have to tinker with this tractor. He says, there's nothing wrong with it right now. But when something is broke, when something breaks on it, you're going to be the one who's probably going to have to fix it if you want it right. He said, because we don't have a dealer in Louisiana anymore. The only place left is in Wisconsin. So I said, okay. So I bought the tractor with the assurance that there was nothing wrong with it right then, which there wasn't. The tractor looked almost new at that time, and there was nothing going on with it. Anyway, I used the tractor. I got it back to my house, and I used the tractor with the PTO with a rototiller. Now, I didn't know anything about tractors, and anything more than the instructions he gave me when I bought it. Well, the clutch stuck, and I had to adjust the clutch, but I didn't know how, which is in this plate right here. Anyway, I bought all new parts, and I had a mechanic come over to fix it, and he left my tractor in two pieces for a year. Another friend of mine, a mechanic, put it back together for me. Well, I put it back together, brought it to him, and then he took it apart again and, you know, put my brand new clutches in there and everything, and that's what's been in there ever since. My dad had trouble starting the tractor. After that, when I brought it out on the family farm or family land, he had trouble starting the tractor. This tractor has a pressure release, compression release, and he would always have trouble remembering the compression release and the starting procedure. So I would go over there, start the tractor for him. Say, Dad, nothing wrong with the tractor. Well, one day I go over there and it won't start. So he was telling me, Blaine, it won't start. I go over there and sure as shooting, it won't start. So I called the people up in Wisconsin at Belarus, and you know, we did the priming procedure using this right here. If you haven't seen Luke's videos on the Belarus 250 AS maintenance, you need to check out Luke. He, you know, nobody does it better than him. I'm not going to do that right now. What happened with me was this had run dry, and that broke whatever it needs to break inside of there, and that's what messed up the pump. Now, side note, I thought to try but never did, because I thought about it afterwards, putting a low pressure pump on this side, on the feed side, low pressure fuel pump, to see whether or not that would boost this and cause it to be able to make the pressure it needed to make in order to run the tractor. So if you have this problem, you might try that first to see, and I think I did see a post about that from somebody else, that they had done it and they were able to make the tractor run. Or maybe I met somebody who told me that, yeah, they had in fact done that on theirs. But coming back to this whole situation, I couldn't find anybody to work on this tractor. People kept kind of blowing me off. So 5 years later, I bought the parts and put this thing on here. I did it correctly, but I didn't think I did it correctly. So I said, I'm gonna take it apart and I'm gonna put it back on and make sure that everything is lined up before I start this tractor. So you have bolts, this bolt that runs through here, down here at the bottom, you know, you got this one back here. You got these bolts, 4 bolts around this thing that hold this face on. I took off these. Why I did that, I don't know. I pulled the pump off and pulled all the guts out of the pump and messed up the timing. I ended up having to buy another pump. I spent $1,100 altogether on buying pumps and stuff. Put the new pump on. Very mad. You know, not mad at anybody. The people at Belarus in Wisconsin, they were awesome. I get it all back together. It started on the first crank. The reason why I'm making this video is the guy who reached out to me on one of my other videos. You know, he's feeling a little discouraged about working on the tractor, getting the tractor going, and getting it, using it as a project. And I just want to encourage him that